Furthermore, with every day that passes, the risk that violence could spread beyond Israel and the occupied Palestinian territory increases. This conflict creates an environment that is ripe for exploitation by radicals and extremists. We must prevent at all costs the emergence of a new locus of dangerous instability in the region. It is imperative that we achieve de-escalation to prevent an uncontainable cross-border security and humanitarian crisis. Mr. President, Excellencies, United Nations officials, including my Special Coordinator for the Middle East process and myself, are undertaking extensive diplomatic efforts within the region, including with Egypt, Jordan, and Qatar, and with key partners in the international community to encourage all sides to halt the violence. We are engaging directly with the parties to conflict, including Hamas, in our efforts to secure an end to hostilities. I commend the ongoing efforts of Member States aimed at encouraging all parties to exercise restraint, de-escalate tensions, prevent further civilian casualties, and reach cessation of hostilities. And I call on all members of the international community to do everything in their power to enable the parties to conflict to step back from the brink. And I call on the parties themselves to allow for mediation efforts to intensify in order to bring the fighting to an end. These horrific events did not arise in isolation. They must be viewed in the context of decades of military occupation, political deadlock, grievances and hopelessness, and the failure to address the core issues at the heart of the conflict. We know far too well that violence begets violence. The unconscionable deaths, suffering and destruction of the past 10 days only serve to push the prospect of sustained peace further into the future. A revitalized peace process is the only route to a just and lasting solution. It is imperative that we keep this long-term vision alive. It starts
for me, for you, for the planet.
It's an ongoing quest for a better future.
The Arab Spring began in 2011. People stood up against corrupt rulers and dictatorship.
All these moments have left deep marks in my memory.
They had hoped for more security, more freedom, more dignity. Have their hopes been fulfilled? 10 years after the Arab Spring, Arabellion starts June 7th on DW.
This is DW News Asia. Coming up today, India's digital divide hits its COVID-19 vaccination drive. Large numbers of Indians can't register for jabs.
Favor of Jewish settlers. According to the latest reports, at least 12 Israelis have been dead and hundreds have been injured. The Palestinian side reported 237 deaths, including 217 in the Gaza Strip, and more than 6,000 wounded in the Gaza Strip and West Bank. The Hamas movement denies reports about its presumed readiness for ceasefire with Israel, the Dunya al-Watan news portal reported, citing Izzat al-Rishq, a Hamas political bureau member. No agreement has been reached. There have been no exact timeframe for the ceasefire as well, he said, adding, mediator efforts and contacts continue without cease.
And Beersheba, sending inhabitants scrambling for shelter. Israeli officials stated 2 people were killed in rocket attacks on the Eshkol area in southern Israel. Reports likewise said substantial explosions and plumes of smoke had been spotted near Tel Aviv and made rocket caution sirens to go off. Israeli media stated a missile fired by Palestinian resistance groups had struck the main road connecting Ashdod and Tel Aviv, triggering a substantial blaze in the area. Palestine's main WAFA news agency said the reprisal attacks came after a series of violent Israeli airstrikes targeted the southern besieged Gaza Strip. The news agency stated Israeli warplanes had actually targeted, with a minimum of 40 missiles, almost 70 locations in the cities of Rafah and Khan Yunis, in the south of Gaza, leaving a minimum of 7 individuals injured who were moved to hospitals for medical treatment. On Tuesday evening, the Gaza-based Hamas resistance movement's armed wing, Ezzedine al-Qassam, announced that it had actually targeted 6 Israeli airbases in action to the raids on the coastal enclave. The group said its missiles had struck the bases of Hatzor, Hatzerim, Nevatim, Telephone Nof, Palmachim and Ramon. The blockaded Gaza Strip and the occupied West Bank have actually been simmering with rage in the past weeks over the regime's scheme to forcefully and unlawfully expel dozens of Palestinians from their homes in the volatile Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood of the Old City in occupied East Jerusalem Al-Quds as part of a long-running scheme to Judaize Palestinian lands.